Okay, so I'm going to move on to Ashley's recommendation, which I really made her sell me on. Like, she tried to pitch it, and I was like, yeah, not good enough. And then she went back and repitched me to try to improve upon her debating skills.
Yeah.
That is Outlander, which is a STARZ original. I thought it was only 8 episodes, found out it's 16, so I got to buy this back half of the season. Bought it the other day to watch on the plane. Well, I bought 1 episode to watch on the plane. And then I was like, okay, I'm in. Now I got to see. It starts a little slow.
Yeah, it does.
Half the episode to get into it, but it did end with a, kind of me wondering like, whoa, wait, what happened? So and then I watched episode 2, and now I just finished episode 3, and the way episode 3 ends, I'm like definitely clinched. Like, I can't wait for us to get done so I can watch episode 4.
I love it. This makes me so happy.
Yeah. So, you explain the premise again, as you did to me a couple weeks ago.
I will do my best. So when it kicks off, the pilot kicks off. There is it's about 1945-ish, I think, and it centers on a World War II nurse who has obviously the war has ended. She and her husband, who was fighting in the war, have been separated for years. So they go to Scotland on their second honeymoon to try and reignite their marriage and remember why they were ever a couple. In the midst of it, the trip is taken to refresh themselves on Scottish history because he is this history buff who's about to take a job at Oxford as a history professor. He is researching his ancestral roots, and I say that because that becomes relevant. Anyways, through the course of this trip, she finds herself back at these standing stones that they had explored, but she's by herself. She puts her palms up to them and falls through time back 200 years to Scottish Highlander days, and she just obviously you can imagine if you're used to seeing cars and all kinds of modern amenities as it were in 1945, and all of a sudden you're dumped into 1740 something, it would be a shock. So she's surrounded by all these like scruffy, funny Highlander, dudes in kilts, and one very dreamy dude in a kilt.
Here's how you should have sold me on the show, Ash. Here's what you should have said. Dreamy Celtic guy has red hair and is scruffy.
Oh my God.
Sexual. That's all you had to say.
I'm sorry.
Like, let me sign up right now.
I'm sorry. And I know I should have just shown you episode 2 that kicks in with him shirtless being tended to. It's like,
it's not even that. It's actually just anytime they go on his face with his curly red hair and it's scruffy, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it.
Yeah, well, brace yourself for the rest of them. Brace yourself. It only gets better from here. All of the supporting cast is incredible. It kind of, so obviously the whole series is based on these very popular books that kicked off in the early 90s, and they're still going. The writer, Diana Gabaldon, is now working on her 9th one, so there's plenty of material should STARZ decide to keep capitalizing on this. There's like 10 more years of the show if they decide to continue it. But it's really good.
It is really good. Yeah, I dig it.